Yes, I know that's extreme, but it's honestly what I was feeling within myself. I'm ready to end my life. I don't like this anymore. I'm done. It's really what I felt, truly. But then I had this weird moment, and I said to myself, literally, I said this: I'm done. But if I can really trust the universe, if I can really trust and have faith, if I can really hit the road in my car and just go out into the nature and be a monk and I will be supported and be okay, if I can really actually do that, throw a bunch of alien spaceships up in the sky right now. That's what I said. And to be perfectly honest, I was kind of considering within myself, I'm going to end my life if I don't get this sign from the universe right now. And I freaking kid you not, the sky exploded, guys. Exploded with UFOs that came so close. They were flying around Lucas and I. He was baffled. He bared witness to the whole entire experience, so I know I'm not a crazy person. He saw it too, and he doesn't even believe in any of this stuff. He's not even into the spirituality. He doesn't believe in aliens, and he's mind blown still to this day about what the hell happened. But I just instantly burst into tears and I started crying, and I said right then and there, I'm leaving. And within 3 days, you know, I had left my job, I had left my living situation, and I had converted my car to live in, and I hit the road and I found myself in Sedona. And I've been supported. I've been fully supported, and my life has seriously taken off and had so many gifts and blessings since then. Hey, what's up, dude? How's it going? Well, my name's Nathan, and in this video on Vibes and Frequencies, I wanted to talk about some of my craziest spiritual awakening stories. And I wanted to hear from you guys too about your craziest, you know, like most exciting or just interesting to share spiritual awakening stories. On my channel, in case you happen to be new here, I make a lot of videos that have to do with basically just my whole experience unfolding from the very beginning of my spiritual awakening. Literally just a few weeks after it started, I began making YouTube videos. So you can literally go back and scroll all the way down on my videos and literally see me right in the beginning all the way to now. And that's honestly kind of what my channel is. It's like a big unrolling of this one guy's spiritual journey. And so in this video, for fun, I want to share some of the craziest things that happened. And I've got 6 for you, the top 6 things I thought would be fun to share. And just so you guys all know too, I do a lot of giveaways in my YouTube videos, and I've got some in this video for you, and they're good ones, so stay tuned. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to talk about before I hop into some of the crazy stories that I have. Well, actually, first I want to show you where I am. So I'm in Sedona, Arizona right now. I mean, this is actually a really cool place that a lot of people who are going through spiritual awakening and spiritual journeys just randomly find themselves here resonating. And, you know, there's a lot of potential reasons for this. A lot of people say that this is the crown chakra of planet Earth. Some other people say that that's the Himalayan mountains, though. But there is some pretty cool vortex energy going on here that I definitely do feel like an influence from. And I've actually got a video tagged in this description all about the energy of Sedona, if you were interested. So yeah, what I want to tell you guys first are the things that actually triggered my spiritual awakening in the first place. And I'm interested to hear from you guys too about this. So for me, you know, for a lot of the time I thought there was one specific thing that triggered it. It was this, it was this, it was this. But it's becoming more clear as I continue on this path that there is no one specific thing that is the source of it all. It's all of it together, right? All of it at once. Everything is a coincidence occurring simultaneously. So I really did some good thinking, and I've pegged 3 specific things that I believe happened immediately at my spiritual awakening, right in the beginning, that I can see had a lot to do with it. So I'm gonna share that for fun with you guys, then I'm gonna get into the top 6 things. So the first thing that happened was I actually had a rash on my face, and it's called Perioral Dermatitis. Technically, it's something I still have, but I don't because it's not here. But it's supposed to be something that you have forever. But anyways, it's kind of like rosacea a little bit. You know, my eyes were like red and inflamed. My nose was like kind of like a purplish red color. And I was getting these red lines. You might even still be able to kind of notice. Not really. going down around my mouth. And that's why it's called perioral dermatitis. Now, what ended up happening is obviously I did not appreciate having my face look like I had some kind of, disease going on or something. If I could do anything about it, then I would, and I'm sure all of you can relate to that. If you've got some kind of skin thing going on, or really anything that is showing, if you could do something about it, I'm sure you'd probably choose to put some energy into that, And I was a waiter at the time too, and it was just embarrassing to me, I felt like everybody was looking at it all the time. I felt like they thought that it was contagious, So anyways, I ended up going to a lot of different doctors and trying a lot of different topical chemicals and creams and things like this. None of it worked. After probably a few months of this experience, I ended up finding myself at one doctor who was a little bit more natural and open to other things. And they told me that perioral dermatitis is often caused by fluoride, which is what is put in our water. So there was fluoride, right? So this person says, dude, what you need to do is get fluoride-free toothpaste. You need to put a filter on your shower head that removes the fluoride from the water, and you need to get a fluoride water filter, right? That filters the fluoride out of the water. So I did, and literally within just 2 or 3 weeks of me doing that, my rash completely went away. So clearly I have a sensitivity to the fluoride, right? So that was one of the things that happened. Now you might be thinking, what does that have to do with the spiritual awakening, okay? Well, the thing is that, I'm not trying to be all controversial or trigger people with fear or bring up any kind of conspiracies, but the truth is, and that science literally even shows this, the information is there if you look it up, guys. The information is there. You can find all of this info on your own. It's just a matter of choosing to look for it, But there's literally science that is showing that it's calcifying your pineal gland. So we've got this pineal gland, which like in India and in the spiritual communities and stuff is referred to as the third eye, right? So the pineal gland is actually constantly vibrating and in motion. Now, we don't have much science saying as to what this is actually doing. In the spiritual community and the energy side of things, I think that we got a little bit of a feeling about what's going on there. But it's also what like produces DMT and stuff in us, which is like a super trippy thing, So anyways, the fluoride is shown to calcify it. So it builds up calcification and it stops your pineal gland from being able to vibrate. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, okay? I have my own personal opinions about that, but I don't wanna share them in this video because it's not the point. So I feel like that was totally a nudge from upstairs. Like, all right, we're gonna start giving Nathan rashes from fluoride so he stops taking it. So anyways, that happened. That was the first thing that happened, right? Now, simultaneously, within the span of 1 week, 2 other things happened. Again, all of them are coincidences occurring together that began my spiritual adventure. So one of the things that happened in that same week where my rash was finally gone is I got a new coworker, and I used to work at Chili's, and I just really liked her, I felt a good connection with her. I was very interested, but I honestly hadn't had much luck with girls for a while at this point. Well, I'm like falling all over the place. And so I didn't have a lot of confidence, so I went home and I was looking up on YouTube basically how to get a girl to like you. And the video that popped up that resonated with me to click on was a video by this guy named Aaron Dowdy, right? Now, Aaron said in his video that a lot of the problem is that when we are super into somebody, are putting them on a pedestal, right? And we're basically making them the star of the movie, which is creating an energy of us following them. And when you're following somebody, it creates the energy of them running away. Right? This was like basically what he was saying. And then he was telling me, I got to be the star of my own movie, right? I'm the main role. I'm the main role. So that happened and it changed my perspective. And so I actually began to watch a few more of his videos, and he started talking about all kinds of like starseed lightworker stuff. And I was getting so many downloads and like resonance with what he was talking about that I was just mind blown. And that was like legit crazy. And like, that was it. That was all it took. I watched a few of his videos. That was it. He had just triggered so much information that was clearly already within me to surface, right? Now, in that same exact week, I went to a Grateful Dead show, okay? Now it was actually not a Grateful Dead show because Jerry Garcia has passed on and they call it different things now. But it was a Grateful Dead show for the community, okay? Now at Grateful Dead shows, they got this thing called Shakedown Street where a bunch of hippies are hanging outside and they're selling stuff so that they can afford tickets and stuff. People sell tie-dye, necklaces, crystals, all the stuff, you know? Now there was, again, I was like romance crazy at this time, okay? I was totally romance crazy. I'm a big romantic. Anyways, there's this really beautiful girl who was selling crystal necklaces and I wanted to go talk to her. My uncle's like, yo, nudging me. He's like, go talk to that girl, go buy a necklace from her and just like hit it off with her, you know? So I went up and I'm talking to her, blah, blah, blah. I ended up buying this necklace that was a really small piece. It was like 0.3 grams of a tektite called moldavite. Now I had no idea about crystal energy. I had no idea about moldavite. I literally had no idea about any of these things. I didn't believe in the energy of crystals. That's not why I bought it. I bought it because I was flirting with this girl. And honestly, out of all the crystals there, it just kind of looked like one that I would actually wear and thought it looked cool, you know? And I've worn necklaces my entire life. Like since high school, I've always worn necklaces. Never crystals, it was always other stuff, like cool designs and fused glass and things like this. But anyways, I got this piece of moldavite. Now, within the span of the next few weeks from that, my life began falling apart, right? All of these things, I was being confronted with all this crazy stuff. For all of my subscribers, you probably know this story, so I'm not gonna spend time diving into it. But if you wanna hear more about my moldavite experience and the energy of moldavite, I've got a playlist tagged below for you. And I just think it's pretty interesting, you know, that I started experiencing all of these profound effects from wearing this necklace. And I didn't even know that those effects existed. You see what I'm saying? Like I didn't even go into it knowing what it was. So I started experiencing all this crazy shit. My life was falling apart. And I ended up having this moment of just feeling like it was the necklace. Like it just all kind of came together and I realized I think it's the necklace for some reason. So I Googled on Google, I typed in a green glass that makes your life fall apart. Boom, I found moldavite. And the rest is history. I began making videos immediately about how freaking crazy this piece of tektite is and what it's doing in my life. And this was the beginning of my spiritual awakening, guys. So I just wanted to tell you those three things. All three things happened at once, you know? So that's how it all began for me. Now I'm gonna hop into basically, you know, those top 6 craziest spiritual awakening stories that I feel like sharing. But first, before I do that, I wanna ask you, my friend here, if you don't mind sharing with me below, what began your spiritual awakening? I want to let you guys know that I'm getting ready to make a video that's all about the stages of a spiritual awakening, and I want to put a lot into that video and make it really awesome. And I want to feature some of you guys in that video and bring up what you share, right? So think of it as, if you can share, you're going to help me to make that video as epic as possible, and I'll even share you in there. So yeah, go ahead and go for that. I'd appreciate that if you guys could help me out and get some research going into that video. So the first thing that I want to say is my experience when I was at Chili's. I had this ridiculously insane experience. This is one of the trippiest things that's happened to me so far in my spiritual awakening. It just was so intense. So I'm standing in the kitchen at Chili's, and for those of you that haven't worked at a restaurant, I realize you probably can't visualize what that looks like, but just, you know, you're in a kitchen, there's this huge, you know, desk thing that on the other side is cooks, and they slide out food, and I stand on the other side and I take the food to tables, right? This is the gist of it. Now I'm standing on my side, and I was taking a break, and I was sitting there and I was eating kale. I'll never forget it. Because of this experience, I have legit associated kale with the most magical energy ever of any of the foods. So I'm sitting there and I'm eating kale. Oh, here, you can't see me. And it was out of nowhere, dude. I just like, all of a sudden, everybody in the kitchen started to look like animals and like aliens from different planets or something. It was like I was having a crazy psychedelic experience, but it was unlike any psychedelic experience I've ever had. You know, for those of you that have seen the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny Depp, there's this scene where he's in a bar and they actually are on drugs. I was not on any drugs at this moment, but there's the scene in the bar where all the people are turning into lizards and stuff. And it legit felt like that. It legit felt like that. Everyone was turning into animals and stuff. And I got this huge smile on my face and I felt so much profound bliss within my body. And I felt like all this energy like shot up my spine, and I felt like in my third eye, pineal gland area, an explosion of something I can't express. There's no way to explain it, but it was legit insane. It was ridiculously crazy. Now, I chalk this up, even now, to being me having my third eye fully popping open in that moment. Now, again, I had removed fluoride from my diet, and I had begun to decalcify my pineal gland. Now, I wasn't intentionally trying to decalcify my third eye. What ended up happening was I basically just, all of the spiritual stuff happens at once, right? So I started wanting to eat healthier. I was eating healthier food. I stopped eating the junk. This led me to feel better, and I had more awareness, and I began searching for more information that was resonant of the things I was going through. And I found online that there are certain vitamins and things that you can take that can help you with the spiritual energy. So I was taking, it's kind of hard to remember at this point. I was taking like chlorella, like a superfood. I was taking something called nascent iodine, and then like fermented skatefish liver oil or something. So anyways, long story short, this experience for me and my spiritual awakening, I've got a video tagged below all about how you can open your third eye and decalcify your pineal gland. I actually know a lot about that specific topic because I put a lot into it, and I definitely succeeded in my goal of opening my third eye. So I've got that video tagged below if anybody wants to go on that journey too. But anyways, what proceeded to happen for like the next 2 or 3 weeks from that, I did not sleep. I just felt so high and so much insane energy within me, and I felt like I could see all of these things, right? All of a sudden I could see rainbow streaks of light, you know? I could see light orbs. I could see the future, all of these crazy things. I started to have psychic experiences of like other people's thoughts flowing into my mind, and like, dude, it was crazy. In that span of those 2 to 3 weeks, dude, I gained so much knowledge and wisdom within myself, because honestly, all this stuff is within us. It's just waiting for us to open the door for it, you know? That's kind of what I feel like. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share. So again, I'll ask you guys, if anybody feels like sharing, have you had a third eye opening experience? Or do you feel like you've had your third eye fully pop open? And if so, what was that experience like for you? Because for me, it was freaking crazy. So that's the first one that I wanted to share. So the second one that I want to share is actually that because of the moldavite, I ended up getting into crystals a lot. And obviously a lot of you guys know that. If you look back in my video history and you scroll down, it's pretty clear that 99% of my videos up to this point here over the last 3 weeks or so have been about crystals. And that was just a really huge part of my journey, and they were something I was so excited about, and I just didn't want to talk about anything other than crystals for a long ass time. But there is a specific crystal that came into my life after moldavite, and it was called Phenakite. Now, I got these little tiny pieces. They weren't even a big piece. They were little tiny ones. And I put them in a headband. I think a lot of you guys remember I used to wear this headband with the Phenakite in there. And I had this experience. The first day that I got them, I threw them in the headband, excuse me, and I got on my bicycle. I used to ride my bike a lot. And I began to ride around this lake that was basically my backyard at the time at my apartment. So I was riding my bike, and just as I was riding, I was listening to one of my favorite Grateful Dead songs. It's called Scarlett Begonias. Actually, I'll tag that in the description for you guys too, just in case anybody wants to hear how amazing the Grateful Dead is. And I was just really loving the song. You know, I had this moment where I just felt really good. I was so grateful. I was riding my bike. I was feeling blessed. I was already feeling this bliss from my third eye opening experience. And all of a sudden, I could feel the Phenakite in my headband. Like so consciously with my awareness, I just had my attention all of a sudden shift to it. And I began to feel like there were these electric ants, is the only way I can explain it. Like ants crawling on me, but they were like inside my skin. and they were like so electric, and they had so much juicy bliss in them. Like, it was like, oh my God. I remember the feeling so clearly. It was so beautiful. And it began to explode all in my like crown and third eye area. I felt all of this energy moving around and moving in my body, and I just began to cry and feel so beautiful. And it set me on this whole healing path of learning how to love myself and forgive myself for certain things that I am or have done in my past, you know. I think a lot of us are very hard on ourselves. And the experience that I had with Phenokite, I'll tag that playlist in the description for you guys too, in case you're curious, is just along the lines of like, you know, I just was learning to love myself and appreciate who I am. And it really helped me to tap into, you know, my crown chakra and God's source creation energy. And I began to all of a sudden in my YouTube videos, I think it's pretty clear for those of you that have been following my videos for a long time, as soon as I started working with Phenokite, that's when a lot of things really started popping off for me. And my articulation in my videos, the kinds of information that was coming through, it just really took off. And so that's an experience that I wanted to share with you guys too. Now look, for a lot of you, my subscribers, I know I realize it's clear that I'm not making crystal videos anymore, at least right now. But the thing is like, I'll always love crystals, and they have such a special place in my heart, you know? And I just wanted to mention that. Like, I've had some badass experiences. And I think, you know, crystals might not be for everybody. I know a lot of people don't even feel anything from them, but for a lot of us here, for some reason we do. You know, and I don't know what that's about, honestly. I have a lot of people sign up for my consultation service and ask me why they can't feel crystals. And the truth is, I don't know why some of us do and some of us don't. But I think on a higher level, it's just part of some of our paths, and for others, maybe it's not, you know? But anyways, so hopping into the next one is a really profound thing that happened to me was I all of a sudden learned about this guy named Enka who channels an entity that we all call Bashar. Now, basically, the whole story here, and I know it sounds ridiculous, I know, but I encourage you to like look him up because it's pretty powerful energy. Like, when you're listening to Bashar, it puts you on some whole other frame of frequency. Like, it shifts you into this whole other paradigm and universe. It's crazy. I get so many downloads when I was listening to him back in the day. But he said this thing where, you know, all these people are asking Bashar questions, you know, all the answers and secrets to the universe. And Bashar chalks everything up to one simple expression. It's the only thing we need to think about. We don't need to worry our fragile human minds about all of these crazy things. There's only one thing that is very simple to understand and will help us to transform our lives, he says. And it's to follow our excitement to the best of our ability. That's what he says, you know? Just follow your excitement. Now, when Bashar said this, I felt so much resonance in my heart. Like, I just knew. You know, I could feel how profound this was. He said, follow your excitement. And he was clearly talking to me. You know, at the time, I was living a life where I was basically choosing to be part of things that I didn't actually resonate with. You know, my job at the time, my living situation, you know, just who I am, my personality, my identity. I wasn't being true to myself. I was holding on to the things that I'd been kind of programmed just by my previous experience in life to believe is what you have to be and do to be a human. You know, I was just doing the normal mundane stuff that everybody else does. But there was this excitement within me that I've always felt since I was young, really since the longest I can remember, to just hit the road and go live in the nature and be a monk. It's what I always wanted. That's what sounded more exciting to me than anything, is to hit the road and just go be, you know, just exist and breathe and tap into these spiritual things. Like, I think it's funny because even before I was spiritually like awake and resonating with this information, that was always here in me. It's what I always wanted. So Bashar said that, and it sat with me for a while. You know, I continued to think about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. But I didn't have the courage to trust yet. I didn't have the courage to trust in what Bashar said. You know, because it was scary. Basically what Bashar is saying is I could just quit my job and leave and follow my excitement and the universe will support me. But that's pretty sketch, you know? Like, I hadn't even gotten my feet wet in terms of trusting the universe yet. So to make such a drastic decision in my life, it was scary, so I didn't, you know? And then, oh man, guys, this is crazy. This is a crazy experience. I was having a hard time because I could feel this excitement within me that I really wanted to go and do, but I didn't trust, like I said. So my friend Lucas, he came over, and I hadn't seen him in a while, but we were going on a hike at nighttime, like a night hike. And he was triggering in me all kinds of memories and stuff because we went to high school together. And again, we hadn't seen each other in a long time. So I was feeling all of these feelings and all of these memories throughout my life. And I all of a sudden started realizing, you know, how depressed I've been and how unhappy I am and that I don't like life. You know, that I feel like it's not fair, you know, all the things I'm being shoved into, I don't like it, you know, I didn't feel good about it. And I felt really depressed and like I couldn't even hear what Lucas was saying when he was trying to visit with me. All I could hear was my thoughts in my mind spiraling about all these anxieties and depressions. And it began to feel incredibly overwhelming. And I felt like giving up. I honestly felt like I wanted to die. It was like a moment of like, I'm ready to end my life. Yes, I know that's extreme, but it's honestly what I was feeling within myself. I'm ready to end my life. I don't like this anymore. I'm done. It's really what I felt, truly. But then I had this weird moment, and I said to myself, literally, I said this, I'm done. But if I can really trust the universe, if I can really trust and have faith, if I can really hit the road in my car and just go out into the nature and be a monk and I will be supported and be okay, if I can really actually do that, throw a bunch of alien spaceships up in the sky right now. That's what I said. And to be perfectly honest, I was kind of considering within myself, I'm going to end my life if I don't get this sign from the universe right now. And I freaking kid you not, the sky exploded, guys. Exploded with UFOs that came so close. They were flying around Lucas and I. He was baffled. He bared witness to the whole entire experience, so I know I'm not a crazy person. He saw it too, and he doesn't even believe in any of this stuff. He's not even into the spirituality. He doesn't believe in aliens, and he's mind blown still to this day about what the hell happened. But I just instantly burst into tears and I started crying, and I said right then and there, I'm leaving. And within 3 days, you know, I had left my job, I had left my living situation, and I had converted my car to live in, and I hit the road and I found myself in Sedona. And I've been supported. I've been fully supported, and my life has seriously taken off and had so many gifts and blessings since then. So, you know, just so you guys know, you don't have to feel like you are going to end your life and you need a sign from the universe just so you can trust. You really can just give yourself permission to trust. You don't even need signs. But apparently I needed one. You know, apparently I needed one to trust because I was really just forcing myself to stay in that box even though it wasn't me anymore and I knew that. So that was an insanely powerful moment, and that's one of in the top 3 most pivotal moments in my entire spiritual journey and in my entire life. Because that sign from the universe, those alien spaceships exploding out, when I did that, I have had full faith and trust ever since. Because nobody can take that experience away from me. You know, and everybody can just think I'm like crazy about it, but it's real. Yeah, that happened. And I know that I can trust the universe and continue to follow my excitement in every single moment because the universe clearly demonstrated that to me. You know, like, fuck, man. Now, I've actually got a video that I have on YouTube that I literally made like 8 hours after this whole experience. And I'm literally like crying in the video. You can see I'm super fresh and raw from it. I was so shook by the experience. I got that titled in the description for you. It's a video explaining my alien contact experience. I go way deeper into it there, so I'll throw that there. And I know a lot of you have had alien contact experiences, so I'm genuinely asking you, if you've seen those light orbs, they almost look like stars, but they're clearly not, flying around in the sky and doing crazy stuff, let me know below. I know I'm not the only one. Some of you have already shared with me that you've seen them too. But I feel that right now on our planet is a time where I think there's a lot of people that are waking up and seeing these ships. You know, I think a bunch of people are having this experience a lot more now because of this whole great awakening that we're in. So yeah, I'm curious to hear from you guys about that. Whew. All right, so right now I want to do the first giveaway in this video. So what you're looking at on the screen right now is a piece of Tanzanite. This is a crystal, okay? Now the reason I'm including this is because I love crystals, and I know you guys do too. And right now on the planet, there is clearly some very explosive and jarring energy that is challenging a lot of us and causing us to have to release a lot of our layers. You know, I think a lot of us are going through a lot of shadow work, a lot of dark night of the soul right now. And by the way, I've got, in my opinion, some of the best, most helpful videos I've ever made in my entire YouTube journey, tagged below for you about shadow work, you know, about the dark night of the soul, and about working through these things. So I'm gonna tag a few things below for you guys to help you out if anybody resonates. But the reason I'm including Tanzanite is because Tanzanite has a very impressive energy to it. Here, let me see. I think I've got my personal piece of Tanzanite here. Okay, here's the one that I keep for myself. So this is my Tanzanite. The reason I really like it a lot is because it's very powerful stimulation for the third eye. And the third eye really is helping us to see and feel other things around us that you might not be able to see otherwise, you know? So I feel like this is really conducive and helpful to the fact that when you're experiencing challenges right now, having a powerful ally to help you to stay connected and keep your third eye active will enable you to see that these things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. Now also, the energy of Tanzanite is very relaxing, you know? It kind of helps you to take it easier on yourself, is at least how it feels to me. So, you know, I realize when we're all depressed and going through some crazy shit in our lives, it's easy to be upset and hard on ourselves about that, you know, and feel like we need to change things, like there's something wrong with us, I need to make myself feel better, I'm doing something wrong. No, you're not. Give yourself a break, you're doing great. Relax, take some deep breaths. You are in the perfect placement with your higher self on your spiritual journey. And I've got another video tagged in the description for you guys, all about how to know if you are in alignment with your higher self and the universe right now. If you're curious about that, I've got that video tagged below too. I think that's a real good, helpful one as well. So anyways, here's the 3 things to do to be included as a potential winner in this crystal giveaway. Number 1 is to either like or dislike this video. It doesn't matter what button you push, but the robot algorithm that chooses the winner is only going to choose from people who have interacted with that button system. Number 2 is to be a subscriber with the bell notification clicked. Again, very important step for the robot to recognize you. And the 3rd thing is to comment below and let me know. Number 1, include the word spiritual awakening. Okay, include spiritual awakening because that's what the robot algorithm is going to be looking for, to include you in there. But let me know, what is one of the most crazy things that's happened to you in your spiritual awakening? You can express it as much or as little as you want, but just, you know, feel free to explain and express what resonates with you. So those are the 3 things to do, and you will know that you have won the crystal giveaway if you get a notification and I responded to your comment and am telling you that you are the winner. So that's how it works. So yeah, awesome. Moving on, I've got a few more things I want to share with you guys in this video. Let's see here. Okay, so here's something that I thought would be interesting to share. I actually had my spiritual awakening start when I was 15 years old. Really. But the thing is that I didn't have information about any of this stuff. And I never resonated to look any of it up on YouTube for some reason. I mean, I know I could have found some stuff about it, you know? And it just, I guess it wasn't the right time in my life to go fully into it. But I had an experience that woke me up, and what ended up happening after this, well, okay, I'll explain this linearly so I don't confuse you guys. I went to a Grateful Dead show. And then I ended up going back to someone very special to me. I went back to their house. I'm not going to, you know, say who they are because, you know, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble or anything like that. But anyways, we ended up taking a substance called LSD together. And it was my first time ever taking it. And the truth is that psychedelics are very intense at cracking you open into the energetic realms of reality. I had never experienced any of that before. But what ended up happening is we were like laying on the floor of his house and we were watching these fractals moving around on the ceiling. He had a projector that projected like trippy stuff basically. And we were laying on the floor looking at it. And it was just, I can't explain it, you know? These experiences are kind of inexplainable. I've never had a psychedelic experience that was more intense. It was the first one, you know? That threw the door open for me. But at the time, I had been so depressed and not enjoying my life, and I didn't like being here and the way that society is. Again, all I wanted to do was go run off into the nature and just be a monk. I've been saying it my whole freaking life. And I hated the fact that I had to be in school and was being forced to do that, you know? To me, it was bullshit and it didn't resonate, and I didn't understand why people thought that it was important for me to learn the things that they're forcing into me. That's just my perspective. I still have that same perspective. Anyways, you know, I was not happy in my life, and this experience, all of a sudden, it was trippy, guys. It's like this portal opened up, and I could see all of the future, and all of the past, and infinite versions of myself. It was like I existed in infinite realities, and every step I took, I could feel everything shifting, shift, shift, shift. And I just, all of a sudden, had something awaken within me, a voice, and it was me. And I had never spoken with my voice before. I had always been speaking from programming for my entire life up to this point. But all of a sudden, a voice made itself known within me, and it felt ancient. It felt so powerful and so old, much, much, much older than 15. And all of a sudden, it just existed in me. And I could feel myself like I was some other kind of entity, that I'm not actually Nathan, you know, but that I'm this other being that's here experiencing itself in Nathan in this kind of sense. You know, that stuck with me. And so that experience, I just wanted to share that. You know, I did have that profound psychedelic adventure that woke me up in a certain sense, but I never pushed it like further, you know, I never continued to expand after that. I basically just went back to life and went back to school and all of the things basically, but I just felt better, you know, I wasn't depressed anymore. I felt like I was just feeling better, you know? And so that was a really healing experience for me. That was very helpful. You know, depression and stuff is something that I struggled with a lot in my life. And I think for those of us on the spiritual path, I think that's insanely, insanely common. I think that depression, if you've ever heard Eckhart Tolle, you know, that depression is a lot of what ends up breaking us open and cracking us into waking up into our true being and enlightenment and things like these. You know, this weight of the world coming down on you, trying to tell you who you are, and it's so depressing because it's not you, ends up just shattering our entire ego. At a certain point, it becomes too much and we give up / give in, right? So I just wanted to mention, you know, I think it's insanely common. And if you are having depression in your spiritual awakening or anxiety and things like this, I've got another video tagged below. Yes, I know there's a lot of tagged videos in here. It just is working out that way, I guess. But there's another video tagged below about the top 3 things that I've learned and experienced in my spiritual awakening that will help you to navigate through the depression and help yourself to heal through that. So they're the top 3 methods and practices I found to help with that. I've got that tagged below, just in case it helps just one person. I'm proud of that. You know, but something I also wanted to mention is after that waking up, I had some events take place in my life a little bit afterwards where I was making music and I was really excited about it. I was absolutely convinced I was going to succeed, and it didn't succeed in the way that was my definition of success. And then also my girlfriend, who I was pretty sure I was gonna marry, you know, started cheating on me, and all these things happened, and I started abusing drugs really heavily, right? Not just having the spiritual experiences with psychedelics, but all of a sudden taking really hard, horrible drugs that have no benefit to them spiritually, just to numb myself, right? And what ended up happening is I actually went back to sleep. And I just thought that would be something interesting to share in this video, and I'm curious about your guys' opinion on that. Can you go back to sleep once you wake up? You know, on one hand, I feel like there's some things that you can't unsee. You can't unsee some things. It's Pandora's box, you know? But I did go back to sleep. I went fully back into the matrix. I was afraid. You know, I was scared. All of this trauma had been happening in my life. I decided I couldn't handle it, and so I was numbing myself with drugs. I went and I got a 9-to-5 job. You know, I just decided I'm not gonna do the things that make sense to me in my heart because it doesn't work. I'm not good enough. I need to do what other people tell me is succeeding, you know? And so I went back to sleep for a while. And then again, those 3 things happened that woke me back up, and this time for real. The Aaron Dowdy video, the pineal gland activation, and the moldavite. Okay, let's see here. Man, I've got some more stuff that I could share. You know, I've had some crazy experiences. Guys. Like, there's so many to share, and I feel like I just want to keep going. But this has already been a really long video, but, you know, I just want to let you guys know, too, that right now on the planet is time for people who have soulmate connections and twin flame connections. This is the time that we're coming together, just so you guys know. And I have a feeling that your twin flame, your soulmate connection, is in your life right now. You might not even know it. But right now, the universe is pushing us together for some very profound energy. You know, when we get together with our person that is literally a part of your energy, and literally on this higher level, this is the only way I know how to explain it, because I can't otherwise. On this higher level, we're choosing to come and split ourselves into these multiple beings, and it's because we're coming into togetherness, guys. You know, reality and society and our egos have been beating into us individuality, and that we are just this human meat suit, and that's all. So these really intense, profound connections that we have with our romantic partner, you know, these soulmate twin flame connections, they're really bringing us into the energy of oneness and togetherness. You know, I had this profound moment where Ruby and I were holding hands, and we were looking in each other's eyes for like, I think it was like almost like an hour and a half we sat there just doing that. And in that single moment, I received so many downloads and like what we call vibrational upgrades and all this stuff to my being. You know, just looking in her eyes, reality started to shake. You know, I could start to see the programming that exists and how malleable our lives are. You know, I began to see Ruby, not just as Ruby, but in other alien bodies. Like, it's really trippy and hard to explain. But like, I got so many downloads of us being together so many times in different alien worlds and as these different beings. And, you know, I'll never forget that. You know, we've been together a really long time. And so I just want to let you guys know that these are really profound experiences that are going to be happening in our lives right now, too. It really is the time on our planet for these soulmate and twin flame connections. It's part of the Great Awakening, and it's not just happening to Ruby and I, it's happening for us, and it's happening for all of us. So, you know, I just wanted to mention, keep your heart open. You know, I realize a lot of us have been wounded. I know I was. I talk a lot about that in my shadow work video, about all the times I've been cheated on and things, and it makes me feel like I'm not good enough and like I can't trust people, you know? But I just wanted to say to you guys, stay open, you know, be vulnerable. I think a lot of times we think that what strength is building a wall to protect ourselves, and we think, I'm strong, nothing can get in. But my personal opinion is that real strength is being open and vulnerable to the universe and everything that's happening. That's real strength, in my opinion. Strength is vulnerability, not defensiveness. So, yeah, I got a lot more I could share, but really, honestly, I'm just curious to hear from you guys. Now, I do have one other giveaway in this video, and this one is actually for my consultation. So we can have a video chat, we can call on the phone and hang out with each other for 30 minutes. We could talk about whatever you want. The truth is that I've been fully immersed in the spiritual journey for the last 2 years, but it's not just here that I've been having this experience, you know? For some reason, my being has woken up within me, and I have all of this information that's existed with me for all of my ancientness and how long I've been alive, you know? I'm infinite, and so are you. But I've got a lot to share, and you know, if that's something that resonates with you, I'd be really excited to get to know you and talk with you and hear what you're going through. And you know, it doesn't even have to be me giving you advice or anything. Sometimes just talking to somebody is really powerful for us. I know it is for me. It's why I found myself making these videos and talking to you. So thank you everybody so much. Once again, my name's Nathan. I make all kinds of videos about the spiritual awakening, spiritual tools, all kinds of practices, and it's just some good stuff, you know? I think so. So if you made it to this point of the video, make sure to go to below and push that thumbs up button, because you obviously liked it if you're still here, and it does help me a lot. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys for the next video, and peace and love, and have an amazing day or night. You deserve it. See you soon.